What is going on, YouTube? So it's about that time, coming back with my next NFL mock draft. So as you guys can see, it is NFL mock draft, fantasy football mock draft. So I actually have not done a mock draft yet. This is my very first one, and this is really my first look at the ESPN rankings, which are extremely wide receiver heavy. These are interesting rankings. These are the first time I'm seeing any of them. QB is pretty low in the rankings. Like I said, wide receivers ridiculously high. I'll be honest, I'm never picking Sammy Watkins in the first round. I'm never picking Julio Jones second overall. But anyway, yeah, it's good to be able to be around football stuff again. And I know it's really early; the season doesn't start for another 3 months. But that's only the preseason in August. So, but yeah, it's draft's over. Rookie camp has already started. Mini camps, I believe, will be starting pretty soon. And you get in training camp. So, like I said, the season will be here before we know it. And let's actually, I do want to dive a little bit more in depth into the rankings. Really see what we're looking at this year. It was almost a guaranteed thing to see Cam Newton be expected to have a regression in the rankings. That's crazy. Aaron Rodgers so low. Okay, well, the first 2 picks have already left the draft, so I guess the first 2 picks are going to be Odell and Antonio Brown and Julio Jones. Oh man, I don't mind, he rejoined. I'll take Le'Veon Bell. Even if I had the first overall pick, that's probably who I would choose. I don't remember. See, 1834 and 10 touchdowns. Yeah, that's great, but man, I don't know if that's worthy of a first overall pick. David Johnson also ridiculously. I don't know if this is like their actual set rankings. I couldn't assume it is. I don't know. I figured that the top guys would be like Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles, those types. I didn't think Ezekiel Elliott was going to be that high up either. That's crazy for a rookie. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and snag up Le'Veon Bell. So, if you guys are not familiar with the format, this is a 12-team standard snake draft with the regular ESPN set for the roster. 16 slots to fill. I believe 10 starting slots. Let me see how many bench we got. 7, so 9 starting spots. Kicker, defense, / special teams, flex, tight end, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and then QB. And first 5 picks off the board: Antonio Brown, then Odell, then Le'Veon Bell, Julio Jones, and then DeAndre Hopkins. So yeah, like I said, let's delve a little bit deeper into the rankings. I'll look through running backs first. See if I can find any things that really stick out. I think Eddie Lacy could be in store for a big year. He was my first round pick last year. I picked him like 7th overall, and he was like for a first overall pick in a lot of leagues. He was considered like the safest pick in the first round, and you see how that turned out. Sometimes safe picks aren't safe at all. There's no such thing as a person who's, I guess, bust-proof. But yeah, and then I also ended up with like Gronk, and I believe my other running back was, oh man, who was it? LeSean McCoy? I also had Latavius Murray. But anyway, I think Jeremy Hill could be a solid option this year. He was a high pick last year and didn't quite live up to the billing. Carlos Hyde's another intriguing option to me. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper down the boards, one of my sleepers was Alfred Morris on the Cowboys until, obviously, Ezekiel Elliott got picked up. But a few guys that I think could have just massive years. Like I mentioned, Jeremy Hill is one of them. Jeremy Langford being another. I don't think there's anyone in Chicago that he'd be splitting time with in the backfield. And then see if we can look a little bit further down the boards. Not really. I think Amir Abdullah is going to be the guy in Detroit. He was a pretty massive, he was a massive sleeper last year and didn't really pan out. The whole situation with T.J. Yeldon and Chris Ivory in Detroit, in Jacksonville, is going to be a interesting situation. I think they're probably going to split carries 50-50. Obviously, T.J. Yeldon being the guy last year over there. Oh, Jordan Howard's the other guy in Chicago. Alright, so he might take some of the carries, but either way. Jay Ajayi will be interesting in Miami. See if he can prove to be anything special. And again, I still have faith in Latavius Murray, but my worry is that the Raiders don't. And they also drafted Devontae Booker, so he might take some of the carries also. If he proves to be pretty good in the league. He was obviously very good at Utah. A lot of guys keep leaving and then returning to the draft. This looks like a year to take running backs early, though. That's normally what I do. There are a few guys that I'm going to tread with caution around. Devonta Freeman being one of them. Did have a very good year last year. There was a span of time where he was unstoppable. Like after week 4, week 5 to about week, I want to say 12. Seemed like he was getting like 100 yards and 3 touchdowns every single week. Oh, but he's off the board now. So, let's see if we can maybe pull like a Thomas Rawls, Carlos Hyde off the board. Maybe even someone better. Doug Martin kind of worries me this year too. It was a contract year for him, and then he got locked up to a pretty massive deal. I think it was one of those situations where he just had a lot of motivation to be able to get a new contract. And he did, but let's take a look over wide receivers before they all fly off the... If I can get Alshon Jeffrey, then I'll take him, but man, I don't know about Alshon Jeffrey in the second round. Let's take a look down the board here. Some names that I like a little bit further down the board. See if Jordan Matthews can finally be that guy to step up in Philadelphia this year. He was a big name in Philadelphia last year. Expected to step up in a big way, and never really did. Breshad Perriman, named to watch in Baltimore. And Malcolm guy keeps leaving and joining every 2 seconds. DGB, another guy who could probably be big for the Titans this year. Had a good finish to the season last year. And I think, again, he's an athletic freak, so the skill set's definitely there. It's just whether or not he can convert on that skill set. Obviously, the talent's never been the problem for him. It's staying out of getting arrested or not robbing people, shit like that. Looks like quarterbacks are something you wait for. Terrell Owens and Randy Moss. Brandon Stokely, Donald Driver, Brian Finneran. How are these guys still on the board? Jesus Christ. Could have put together a solid team in 2008. Alright, let's see here. I don't know about that. Let's see what's still available on the way running backs. But I feel confident in LeSean McCoy. That would be a very fragile backfield, though. High upside, but also very likely to get injured. Alright, so we got the backfield set. Let's see what we can do about wide receivers. Man, I'm going to go ahead and scoop up the first quarterback. Let's go ahead and get Cam Newton. This is more an experimental thing. Drafting quarterbacks early is never something that I know how it's actually going to turn out, but in a 12-team league, I don't know, it seems like it gets really thin after about the 5th round. I feel like Russell Wilson to like Carson Palmer or Matt Stafford or Tony Romo. It seems like Russell Wilson to Tony Romo is the prime spot to get quarterbacks. And after that, it kind of falls off. I respect Tyrod Taylor, but he was solid last year. I just don't know how. I feel like he has a really short leash in Buffalo. From seeing how they're trying to turn Buffalo into like a quarterback battle. Derek Carr and Blake Bortles, though, that's wow. Those are steals. Had both those on my team both those guys on my team last year. There are some steals down here. Like Matt Ryan can get the touchdowns up a little bit. It's been big in years past. I've drafted Tannehill almost every single year, and it hasn't paid off at all yet. Teddy Bridgewater, I had a lot of faith in last year. Could make that jump. He had a solid season, but with AP in the backfield, he's more or less just a game manager for now, albeit a good one. I mean, people call Carson Palmer a game manager for a long time, and look where he's at right now. I wonder where Alex Smith is on here. There he is. There's Jared Goff. I wonder what Carson Wentz is. Wow, he's below Paxton Lynch. Ooh, where is he? Huh. Where is he? $365. Did I just miss the name? Oh, he's far down here. There he is. Right below Christian Hackenberg. Wow, is he not? Oh, he might not be the Eagles starter right now. Yeah, has Sam Bradford as the starter right now. I think Wentz is going to end up being the starter. Brian Bennett. I'm a Colts fan. I don't know who that is. Alright, so let's see what we're looking at in this round. I don't think anyone else has taken a quarterback yet, so Cam Newton pick might not have been the best pick, but who knows? Maybe they'll start falling off right now. Like I said, that was more of an experimental thing than anything. I just wanted to wait a little bit on wide receivers. I have a lot of faith in Jarvis Landry. He was very good for me last year. It seemed like a very reliable, like 7 to 8 points every week. See if he can make it down to me. 4th round pick wouldn't be the worst place to get a receiver like that. Actually, those were both my receivers last year. Was Jarvis Landry and then Randall Cobb. Cobb had a rough season to say the least, though. I think it could end up being a good season for him, though. With Jordy Nelson back, might be able to open up the receiving game a little bit more in Green Bay. Let's see if Jordan Nelson can even stay healthy. I just don't feel I would never spend a 4th round pick on Doug Baldwin. No disrespect to him. He had a good season last year, but again, it's still Doug Baldwin. Let's see what time we're at right now. 14:24. Not by any means the longest mock draft ever. I'm going to try to get a decent, give you guys various looks like I did last year. 8, 10, and 12 for Snake, and then also try to get a few auction ones in. But auction drafts have not been kind to me lately, so they've taken a very long time. Alright, so we did get Jarvis Landry, so I'm liking the look of my team right now. Probably didn't need to take Russell Wilson so early, but it's whatever. Let's see what we're looking at in the way of tight ends, see if we need to scoop one up this early, and it doesn't look like it. Maybe get another running back. Okay, you know what? Let's get Randall Cobb. This team is going to look kind of similar to my team last year. So I do like that team. Honestly, I think it's pretty good. Let's take a look at a few of the other teams. David Johnson, Mark Ingram, Keenan Allen, and Jonathan Stewart. Again, that team could be very good or it just could be absolute garbage because, I mean, you look up and down. Mark Ingram probably will be solid. Jonathan Stewart, last year was the first healthy season I've had him have in a long time. David Johnson is good. He had a very good stretch run last year, but again, no guarantees for him in Arizona. I'm not saying he won't be huge. I just don't know about him as a 6 overall pick. I feel like Le'Veon Bell, Jamal Charles, guys like that are more worthy of that pick. Alright, so let's get back to my team. So if you are just listening to this, I think a few people do that. Right now I have Cam Newton at quarterback, Le'Veon Bell, LeSean McCoy at running back, and then Jarvis Landry, Randall Cobb at wide receiver. Alright, let's see. Before it gets too thin, I'm going to go ahead and scoop up another running back. It is getting really thin right now. I'm going to go ahead and try Melvin Gordon. If he's healthy this year, then that could be a different situation for him in San Diego. He got all those guys. He probably has the highest upside. If he even makes it to me. This is when all the quarterbacks start to fall off. Alright, so let's see what's available at wide receiver before I go ahead and... Okay, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger on Jordan Matthews. Okay, and I can get Melvin Gordon too, so that's good. Alright, or... You know what, let's see if I need a tight end. Not that badly. Okay, so go ahead and scoop up Melvin Gordon. Be able to lock up a pretty good set of wide receivers and running backs. And a good quarterback, so that's good too. Tom Brady at 79, though, that might be something worth waiting out. I don't know if he's going to be sliding up draft boards, but I think he'll be a very motivated guy this year, seeing as they got eliminated in the AFC Championship. See where we're at right now. 18 minutes, not that bad. And it should, I think, yeah, we only got 3 teams left on actual user picks, so it probably won't take that long. Now, I haven't really talked about this much yet, but some sleepers at tight end for this year. The top guy right now, Zach Ertz. I know he's been a sleeper for a little while, but I think he could be big this year. Austin Seferian-Jenkins was a big sleeper for me last year. Maybe not as big this year. I think Clive Walford, the kid out of Miami, had a decent year last year. I think he could be big. It just seems like Oakland never really, I don't know. It seems like they never really have a tight end that does very much. And then if he gets a chance, I like Thomas Duarte, the kid out of UCLA for Miami, but Jordan Cameron's the guy that's getting most of the looks right now. If I don't think he's going to, let's see if Zach Ertz will fall this far. If not, then I'll scoop up like Julius Thomas. It's crazy to see Jimmy Graham that low. So many teams on auto pick. Oh, and there he goes. You know what? I'm just going to pick up Jimmy Graham just because it's crazy to still see him available at this pick. And it's still Jimmy Graham. He's still a crazy talented tight end. That team would have been so good last year. I still think it's pretty good now, but anyway, let's just kind of go from a best player available sort of standpoint right now. Like I said, I like Breshad Perriman. Also, the link or the entire draft results for this draft is going to be in the description below. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to see if I can get Kenneth Dixon, kid out of Louisiana Tech. I don't think Justin Forsett's the long-term answer in Baltimore. I've voiced that multiple times, though. I do like this team, though. I'm going to try to do this draft all the way through. Like I said, probably shouldn't take too long. And then probably come back with another one later this week or next week. Got plenty of time to do it before the season starts. Like I said, a lot of these were just experimental picks. Like Cam Newton, I was just seeing how early people were actually taking quarterbacks off the board. I'm assuming that's something that'll steadily progress. Like, I don't think that quarterbacks are going to be snagged in the 4th, 5th rounds at the earliest for a very long time. But we'll see. Things might have changed. Seattle is still the first defense off the board. So not too much has changed. Alright, so again, Kenneth Dixon. I'm going to go ahead and take another... Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Texans D. I was going to wait. That's intriguing. It seems like about that time. Wait for the kicker, or wait for the last round for the kicker. I normally go week to week with the kickers. I normally don't keep the same kicker for an entire season. Just not something that I like waiting on, or that I like to pick early. That's crazy to see him on. Just a little fun fact: Keith Marshall broke the North Carolina high school state rushing record against my high school. While I was in high school, he was a senior, and I believe I was a junior. Yeah. So it's crazy to see him up on fantasy football now. Crazy fast guy. And also, I'm not from a very big football area, so we don't produce a lot of football players like, I guess more like the states of Florida, California, Texas. I think I mentioned this earlier, but if you do not want to watch the entire video, you're watching it up to this point, as always, the results of this draft will be in the description below. I like to always do that if you guys don't want to go through the entire video and just want to see what my team looks like, what situation you might be looking at for a 12-team league in just a regular snake draft, especially if you're picking third. Paul Perkins, I think, is a guy that could end up taking that job in. Alright, so let's see. No, I'm just going to throw one up to the homie. Draft Keith Marshall. Alright, I am not going to pick a kicker yet. See if we can get ourselves a solid. You know what? Let's go ahead and scoop up Philip Rivers. Gotta have a solid quarterback for the bye week or insurance policy in case someone gets injured. Philip Rivers always a solid option. I think one of the best options in kind of that little tier 2 group of QBs. I wonder if anyone is without a QB right now. I doubt that. Yeah, Drew Brees, Tyrod Taylor, I think is about the worst one you'd end up with. Tom Brady, Tony Romo. Yeah. Alright, and let's see, pick up. I'm just going to go best player available type thing. Not really one to get a backup tight end. Let's go Leonte Carroo. think he's a guy with some pretty high upside. And let's look a little bit further down the draft board at some running backs. Oh man, Arian Foster in the 15th round. C.J. Spiller too. You know what? He was solid last year. He probably won't play at all this year, but again, just throwing up one for the homies. All right, let's see what we're looking at in the way of kickers. Roberto Aguayo. There we go. That's probably the most exciting anyone's ever got about a kicker. But anyway, if the Buccaneers were excited enough about him to trade up in the second round to get him, then I guess everyone should be excited about that. Oh, gone. Okay. I don't know. Let's go for a fun one. Ooh, Josh Lambo. No, that's not the guy who I thought I was. Let's find Adam Vinatieri. How far down draft boards is he? Dang. Oh, you might have already gotten drafted. Okay, I guess he already got drafted. So, let's get... You know what, I'm going to close my eyes and click on someone. Chris Boswell. Nah. Let's go Josh Scobee. Alright, so that'll pretty much do it for this one. Like I said, the link to this entire one will be in the description below. And, yeah. Like I said, I'll come back hopefully within the next couple days, maybe a week, to do my next mock draft. Probably do an auction one to change it up short term. But yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.